to the weakest link. Any of the 9 people in the studio here today could win up to £10,000. They've only just met, but to get the prize money they'll have to work together. However, 8 will leave with nothing. As round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
I'm David, I'm 19, I'm from Larne, Northern Ireland, and I'm a student.
I'm Barbara, I'm 72. I'm from Warrington in Cheshire and I'm a retired administrator.
I'm John, I'm 51, I'm from Lewin, Cornwall, and I'm a courier.
I'm Vicky, I'm 30, from Raleigh Regis in the West Midlands, and I'm an NVQ assessor.
I'm Rob, I'm 47, I'm from Cambridge, and I'm a relief project worker.
I'm Emma, I'm 27, I'm from Gosport in Hampshire, and I'm in the Army.
I'm Peter, I'm 32, from Bedford, and I'm a retail manager.
I'm Helen, I'm 41, I'm from Llanarthney in Carmarthenshire, and I'm a locksmith.
I'm George, I'm 24, I'm from London, I work for an antique auction house.
Okay, just to remind you, in each round there's £1,000 to be won. The fastest way is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Break the chain and you lose all the money in that chain. Say bank before the question is asked and the money is safe. Round 1, 3 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Barbara. Let's play the weakest link. First question is for £20. Start the clock. Barbara, in weather forecasting, which 3-letter word is the opposite of wet?
Dry.
Correct. John. In geography, the 4 countries of the United Kingdom are England, Northern Ireland, Wales, and which other?
Scotland.
Correct. Vicky. In food, the word brunch combines breakfast with the name of which other meal?
Lunch.
Correct. Rob.
Bank.
The party game in which a narrow-necked container is rotated to determine whom the participant must kiss is called spin the what?
Bottle.
Correct. Emma. In children's literature, a fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen tells the story of an extremely small girl called what? Thumbelina or Barbarella?
Thumbelina.
Correct. Peter. In vocabulary, the full name of which accessory is often abbreviated to hanky?
Handkerchief.
Correct. Helen. In 1960s TV, the science fiction series that featured the characters Captain James T. Kirk and Mr. Spock was entitled Star what?
Trek.
Correct. George.
Bank.
In maths, what is 10 multiplied by 10?
100.
Correct. David, in definitions, what G is a 4-letter word for a natural ability that is also a term for a birthday or Christmas present?
Gift.
Correct. Barbara, the national emblem of the United States is the bird of prey known as the bald what?
Eagle.
Correct. John.
Bank.
In UK newspapers, the title of which Sunday tabloid includes a term that is a plural of the word person?
The people.
Correct. Vicky. In European geography, Lake Zurich is a large body of water in which country?
Switzerland.
Correct. Rob. On a London railway map, what Z is the term for the areas based on their distance from the centre, numbered 1 to 9 and used to regulate prices?
Zones.
Correct. Emma. According to the traditional proverb, many a true word is spoken in what?
Jest.
Correct. Peter. In botany, a new growth on a rose that develops underground from the root is called what? A sucker or a chump?
Sucker.
Correct. Helen. In confectionery, a large round sweet designed to last for a long time in the mouth and made up of a number of hard layers is called a gob what?
Stopper.
Correct. George. In books, in westerns and crime stories, if the villain is called a baddie, what G is the corresponding word used for the hero?
A goodie.
Correct. David.
Bank.
Okay, you've reached and banked your £1,000 target. It took a bit of time. You had a chain of 17 correct answers. But who's clinically clueless? Whose think tank is likely to spring a leak? Time to vote off. The weakest link.
According to the statistics, George is the strongest link. David is the weakest link. But who will be the first to take the walk of shame?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Rob.
Rob.
Barbara.
Rob.
David.
George.
Rob.
David.
Rob.
Where are you from, Vicky?
The Midlands.
Specifically?
Riley Regis near Dudley.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine, don't worry.
How near Dudley?
About 20 minutes.
Oh dear. And what do you do round Dudley?
I'm an NVQ assessor.
What are you assessing?
Customer service.
Oh really? Customer service?
Customer service, yes.
Yes. So let's pretend we're in the newsagents in Dudley.
Okay.
And you're serving a customer.
Okay.
What's the best way?
Good morning, madam. Can I help you today?
Yeah, you're going to call me madam, are you?
Depending on the store, yes.
Yeah. And then what?
And how can I help you? What would you like?
I've got 3 newspapers in my hand.
Okay, I'll pop those through for you. That's...
Pop them through where? What do you mean pop them through?
Pop them through the till for you. This is why I don't work in a shop. This is why I assess it.
Why Rob?
Because he banked too early.
Rob!
Hello.
I didn't say hello.
Oh.
Rob! You are the weakest link. Bye.
I think the team have lost a valuable player because I have got good general knowledge and I would have been a good team player. I didn't get a chance to play the game, to be honest, and that's their loss really, you know, and my loss too.
Round 7. You have £2,240. Another 10 seconds off your time. You voted off the strongest link from the last round, so we'll start with the second strongest, that's George. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. George, in literature, what is the 2-word title of the novel by Charles Dickens that has the subtitle The Parish Boy's Progress?
Oliver Twist.
Correct. Peter. In educational qualifications, a person who's been awarded a PhD is commonly called a Doctor of what?
Physics.
Philosophy. Helen. In transport, piers called Temple, Swan Lane and Tower on which English river?
Thames.
Correct. George. In music, what P, literally meaning play before, is the usual term for a composition that is intended as a preface to a further longer piece?
Prelude.
Correct. Peter. In politics, the country previously part of Indonesia that joined the United Nations as an independent state in 2002 is known as East what?
New Guinea.
Timor. Helen. In mythology, the gods called Osiris and Ra were worshipped by which ancient civilization?
Incas.
The Egyptians. George. In film, the 1978 adventure starring Richard Burton about mercenaries attempting to rescue a deposed African president is entitled The Wild what?
Hunt.
Geese. Peter. In horticulture, what A is an alternative name for the flower widely grown as an ornamental that is often known as the Michaelmas daisy?
Amarist.
The aster. Helen. In UK trade unions, in the publishing and printing industries, the religious-sounding title held by a male shop steward is Father of the what?
Pass.
Chapel. George. In literature, the poem by Tennyson called The Kraken is about which type of mythical creature, a sea monster or a leprechaun?
Sea monster.
Correct. Peter.
Bank.
In travel, Time's up. You won £40. Now in round 8 you get the chance to treble what you bank. Time to vote off the weakest link.
As he gave the most wrong answers, Peter is the weakest link. George is statistically the strongest link. But will the other players consider that when they cast their final votes?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
George.
Peter.
Helen.
We have a three-way tie. You've got a vote each. George,
Hello, man.
did you think Helen was the worst player?
I think so, yeah.
Helen, why Peter?
I thought Peter didn't answer as many questions as he could have.
Peter, you thought George was the worst player, did you?
Yes.
Really? How did you work that out?
I didn't have very much money to bank.
Well, when the vote's tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote, and the strongest link was George. Got a choice now.
I think I might change to Peter.
Why is that? Because you're a big girl's blouse?
Well, I thought, he'd pick me, I'll pick him.
Peter! You are the weakest link.
I feel very happy to have got as far as I did in the weakest link today. Would like to have gone obviously on to the final, but I can't be too embarrassed with my performance today.
Round 8. You have £2,280. In this round, 90 seconds. But whatever you win will be trebled. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's George. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. George, in popular music, what is the full title of the song by Cole Porter that includes the lyrics, I get no kick from champagne?
Pass.
I get a kick out of you. Helen, in nature, what T is the name of a hoofed mammal related to the rhino that is found in Asia and South America and has a long, flexible snout?
Could you repeat the question, please?
In nature, what T is the name of a hoofed mammal related to the rhino that is found in Asia and South America and has a long, flexible snout?
Pass.
Tapir. George, in celebrities, what is the first name of the political activist born in Nicaragua in 1945 who during the 1970s was married to Mick Jagger?
Pass.
Bianca. Helen, in fruit, the seed of an apple is known by what three-letter name?
Pip.
Bank.
Correct, George. In maths, what is 320 divided by 8?
60.
40. Helen, in aviation, the Wright brothers made the first powered flight near the town in North Carolina called Kitty what?
Winkle.
Hawk. George, in TV, which 1960s series starred Patrick McGoohan and was filmed in the Welsh resort of Port Miriam?
No idea, pass.
The Prisoner. Helen, in literature, which 18th century man of letters was the subject of a famous biography by his friend James Boswell?
Shakespeare.
Samuel Johnson. George. Time's up. You won £20, which we will treble. It gives you prize money today of £2,340. There can only be one winner. Now up to 5 questions each. If there's a tie, we'll go for sudden death. So, Helen and George, for £2,340, let's play the weakest link. Helen, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I'd like George to go first, please.
George, in definitions, which three-letter word can mean a length of metal, a block of soap, or a ridge of sand?
A bar.
That is the correct answer. Helen. In cinema, what's the title of the 2001 film that starred Nicolas Cage as an Italian army officer who falls in love with a Greek woman played by Spanish-born Penelope Cruz?
Officer and a Gentleman.
The correct answer is Captain Corelli's mandolin. George, in cookery, which spice is often said to be the most expensive in the world because to make an ounce of it requires several thousand hand-picked stigmas from a plant native to Asia?
Saffron.
That is the correct answer. Helen, in mythology, a cave on the Hebridean island of Staffa is said to have been a home of which Gallic warrior hero? Correct answer is Fingal. George, in pop music, the British rapper Patrick Okonkwo, who had a UK #1 single entitled Pass Out in 2010, is better known by what alliterative stage name?
Tiny Temper.
That is the correct answer. Helen, in a reference to its location and its depiction in a 1797 cartoon by James Gilray, as an elderly woman wearing a dress made from pound notes, the Bank of England gained what nickname?
Britannia.
The correct answer is the Old Lady of Threadneedle Street. That means, George, you are today's strongest link and you go away with £2,340. Helen, you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link. Goodbye.
When I got to the end, I thought I was a bit numb with shock, really, for actually getting so far. There was no way I was going to answer those questions. I deserved to be runner-up.
Winning the weakest link, yes, fantastic. I'm sort of really buzzing at the moment. I can't really believe it, but I think when it finally sinks in, I'm going to be pretty insufferable for a couple of weeks to come.